back and forth, over and over. Twice a week, more than a dozen Spartans try their hand at table tennis, not just as friends, but with national aspirations. The Michigan State table tennis team is taking its talents to Texas. Club president Sullivan Costa prepares his team for its most important tournament yet.
The divisional, we took about 16 players. We took full rosters to the regionals, and now we're taking that to the nationals too.
But Texas is a long way away, and the team needs funding or else it's lights out for their tournament hopes. The club has set up a GoFundMe with a goal of raising $2,000. Graduate student Alice Chu describes a tricky logistical situation.
We don't have enough fundings to support our divisional, regionals, and nationals tournaments, so we have to pay out of pocket.
We're actually, half of us are driving to Texas, half are flying, and then we're all driving back. So just gas and plane tickets and hotels in general just kind of take up most of the funding that we received.
Even with a competitive tournament and tight wallet looming, MSU's table tennis players hold the game above all else.
Overall, at the end of the day, it's like meeting really good people that kind of makes it like a bigger part of my life.
It will be a very exciting trip for us, and some good memories for the table tennis team.
And at Nationals, there won't be anything in the way of the sport they love. In East Lansing, I'm Daniel Zivian, Focal Point News.
Okay, play the one that's not working.
Question: how do you tune a pipe organ?
Each individual pipe needs to be tuned.
The answer: very carefully. This is the Red Cedar organ, a longtime project for Michigan State, finally dedicated this past spring. It rests in Alumni Chapel, home to services, weddings, and funerals. Choral professor Jonathan Reed has been involved with the organ for 8 years.
Somebody wanted to renovate the organ that was already in the chapel, and it was in such bad shape we decided that it wasn't really worth renovating.
For the past 2 hours, these guys worked meticulously to get this instrument in tune. But what for? What's the big occasion? Tonight, the College of Music's 2 chamber choirs are performing together with MSU's experienced organ professor.
Heywan Jiang did her master's and doctoral degree in piano performance here at Michigan State, and since that time has become an accomplished organist.
For others, tonight's concert is a brand new venture. Even Katie Green, a doctoral student in choral conducting, is excited for her first performance with the Red Cedar organ.
Something that's so special about the organ is just the level of power that it provides, and you just become encompassed with sound, and it's really inspiring and allows for just a different facet of music making that we don't often get to do.
This concert is the culmination of several years' work, representing the effort and passion it takes to maintain an organ, let alone build one.
I don't play the organ, but to be able to take something that, you know, many people get to appreciate at church on Sunday, make it sound good, it's pretty cool, because I know what they sound like when they're not in tune. It's not very good.
In East Lansing, I'm Daniel Zivian, Focal Point News. How does a ragtag, dedicated theater group in need of an audience put on a brand new show? In just 3 weeks, that's how. Last Friday, MSU's theater students premiered an original musical, In Emily's Words, based on the life and characters of Wuthering Heights novelist Emily Bronte.
Every day begins anew.
This was a passion project for Jessie Tomsko, who has often worked with students.
I'm a music teacher. I teach piano, voice, guitar, songwriting, composition. So I love working with people of all ages and seeing them kind of crush their potential and what they thought they could do.
Can you also show me?
That includes Broadway talent. The show was directed by Susanna Wolk, who also directs the American tour of Waitress.
All I want to do.
And joining the cast was Jonathan Christopher, who currently understudies as Aaron Burr in a Hamilton touring company. For theater major Sebastian Barnett, this was a unique opportunity.
Not only to be able to work with the kind of Broadway level people that we're working with, but even some of the really talented high schoolers that we have coming in for the Imagine program. Everybody is coming together and working really effectively, really efficiently, and it's been a great process all around.
In East Lansing, I'm Daniel Zivian, Focal Point News.
Let's go back. Yeah.
For the past 8 nights, Michigan State's campus was lit up and not by disposable couches.
It's the third night of Hanukkah, and so I'm set out in Snyder Hall for anybody that wants to light candles. They can come light them here.
Technically speaking, we're not allowed to light menorahs in the dorm rooms because it's a fire hazard, and so we all wanted to have a place where Jews could freely celebrate Hanukkah.
With students back in person, MSU's Chabad Student Center set up menorah lightings at 6 different dorms and University Village. For volunteer Hannah Greenspan, this event was a great way to stay connected with her Jewish life.
Jewish holidays are normally celebrated with a community, so Chabad and Hillel are both really great because you're able to reach out and be with the community on these holidays where you would otherwise be alone because you're away from home.
Dozens of menorot are one thing, but the community had bigger plans. On Wednesday, Michigan State's Jewish community gathered together outside of the MSU Union to light a giant menorah. Student Matt Stewart says that this more public event went a step beyond community welfare.
Yeah, we set this up. It only took about 20-30 minutes, but it means a lot to me as a Jew on the campus that we're having this representation, especially though like Christmas trees and stuff around, so this is definitely nice.
The event featured food, music, and special guests like University President Samuel Stanley and an East Lansing fire engine, which rained chocolate gelt down from the sky. Why was this night different from all other nights? Jewish Spartans from all over the country came to one spot and celebrated their identity for all to see. In East Lansing, I'm Daniel Zivian. This Saturday marked the first official change to national civic life in several years. Juneteenth, an African-American holiday originally celebrated by freed slaves, will now be observed by Americans of all races and creeds. In line with a meteoric rise in popularity, West Bloomfield hosted its first ever Juneteenth event at West Bloomfield High School, sponsored by the West Bloomfield Lakes Area Democratic Club. Member and event organizer Margaret Hall played a major role in bringing it to life.
We were having a meeting one night. We talked about having Juneteenth as a celebration. And we haven't had a long time to plan this, but the event just grew and grew. And one night I was on the phone with them and I gave them a history lesson on what it was and how it's not celebrated and it should be. So we've been working very hard. We're going to have many, many vendors to come. A plethora of things happening. We're going to have children's games, a storyteller. We're going to have a live DJ. We're going to have the Roadmasters Vet Club. We're also going to have a proclamation proclaiming that Juneteenth will happen June 19th every year in West Bloomfield.
On June 17th, President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, creating America's 12th federal holiday. But how did Juneteenth become prominent enough for Capitol Hill? The story of Juneteenth begins with the wartime signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, a policy which could only be enforced in the event of a Confederate surrender. On June 19, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger marched his troops through the streets of Galveston, Texas, announcing the Civil War's end and the emancipation of slaves. Joyous celebrations followed, giving birth to an annual holiday, which has slowly spread from Texas to being observed nationwide. More recently, Juneteenth experienced an unprecedented surge of awareness in the wake of 2020's protests, culminating in Thursday's bill signing.
This is a celebration that we've been waiting for a very long time, and we're hoping that other people will celebrate it with us. We well deserve this holiday. We've had the shortest one in February with 28 days for years. It's time that we get something else, because the way I feel about it, we're Black every day of our lives. We're not just Black in February. And Juneteenth takes it to a whole nother level.
Despite a sudden downpour, the Juneteenth celebration was a success for the community, with the added support of a drive-in COVID-19 vaccination clinic at the fire station next door. Going forward, Hall feels that, as always, there is work to be done.
And even today, where you see where we are, we still don't feel like we're free. There's still a lot of things that are happening. So we're hoping that this is the beginning of finally the equality that we deserve as a people and that we deserve as human beings.
For The Splash, I'm Daniel Zivian. Also disappointed today, Taylor Swift fans. Thousands of Swifties waited online for tickets. It all ended with the Ticketmaster site crashing. If you call up the Ticketmaster site, you'll be greeted with a message that says no tickets are available. Ticketmaster sold over 2 million tickets to Swift's 52-date stadium tour. That's a record. Overwhelming demand led to the crash. MSU student Jacqueline Nava says she tried to get tickets with no luck.
It's only September, and MSU's theater students have already staged a musical. Focal Point's Daniel Zivian is live in the newsroom with this week's entertainment report. Danny?
That's right, Hunter. MSU Theater wasted no time on hitting the stage with their 8th Imagine production. That's IMAGEN. It's an annual showcase of brand new musical works. Right here are the Journ 300 kids. That's Professors Joe Grimm and Jeremy Steele. They are print journalists for the Spartan Newsroom Online and also might dabble in the state news in print, who are covering the election results live across mid-Michigan. At around 11 o'clock yesterday morning, President Stanley announced his departure in a brief video. We have excerpts from that video, as well as reactions from a Faculty Senate voter and other voices around campus. Welcome back to Focal Point. I'm Daniel Zivian with this week's sports update. And what the world needs now is men's basketball. They earned their 15th win of the season against the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland trailed 15-0 to start the game Tuesday night against a Spartan team that was looking to recover after 2 straight losses. Despite a strong start from MSU, Maryland retook the lead in the second half, making it a nervous final minutes in East Lansing. Now, you may notice that the MSU Board of Trustees play a central role in this conflict. But as I found out, not everyone knows who they are, let alone what's going on right now or that they're even elected. Welcome back to Focal Point's Election Night Special. I'm Daniel Zivian. All night you have heard Alex and Elena go through the results and also stories from around election season. We also have action going on in the newsroom tonight. As you saw earlier, the fine folks at Journ 300. But I am standing with 2 students who don't make the videos, they don't even write the articles, but they make tomorrow's headlines. This is Jordan and Madison. Could you guys tell me just a little bit about what your class is and what you guys do?
Yeah, so we're from Journalism 336. It's a design class for print and digital media. So we've been working on coming up with the headlines and designing the theoretical front page. That's our assignment that we're going to be working on for the first few weeks here.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what Madison said, we've just been simulating basically a breaking news situation. This is our first time doing this. It's really fun, so yeah.
All right, and I understand that you guys have been working for the past couple hours on some projects right now, so I don't believe this race has been called, but could you show us your mock-up for a headline of tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've just been putting this together. Our professor works for the Detroit News, so we've been, that's the assignment. We're using that nameplate there, obviously not officially for the Detroit News, but yeah, this is just a sample page that I've put together so far. I'm sure it will change as the night goes on as well.
Absolutely. I understand the governor's race right now, for example, is pretty darn close. Now, what is the most difficult part of going into this particular field? Because I myself am not a graphic design person. I'm unfamiliar with your ways. What's the scoop here?
I actually think that it is, once we do get the news in, because right now we're just kind of like framing what it could look like, but once we start getting the news in, it's difficult to know where are we going to put certain stuff, how to make our picture look good, and then how does the page just come together once we actually have all the news. Yeah.
Awesome, you guys. And your professor's Rick Epps, right?
Yes.
336? I'm 2 for 2. These are the students of Journ 336. My name is Daniel Zivian. You've been looking at the Spartan Newsroom tonight, alive with activity. Alex, Elena, back to you.